Good evening, my fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. It is I, and I am Guy, coming to you live from Applewood Station in Denver, Colorado, where it is US 287 North Federal is closed. I keep looking for the weather, and I get traffic reports, which is great, but it's 9 at night, and I'm not trafficking everywhere. How you doing, Joshi? Good to see ya. My good pal. How things going out in the outward world, the Joshi world, in the royal world? Excellent. Excellent. How'd it go? I guess it's probably too early to see whether you can hear or not, huh? Or whether you can hear better. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Sweet. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be so cool. Rooting for you, bro. Rooting for you. You know we all are. Excellent. I am so glad to hear that. I really am. That's fair. I don't feel, you know what? I've come to the conclusion in my time, there's no honor lost there. You know what I mean? Like, that's totally fine. My wife was going to try to do childbirth. Completely natural. She wasn't going to do the epidural. That lasted, I believe she probably held out for about 15 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? No honor lost there. We're fine. That's fine. Do what you need to do. Excellent. That's really good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you're tootling along and doing fine. That's good to hear. That's cool. That is good. I like the, hey, let's move this needle and see what happens sort of theory. God. It's all right. Glad to hear that. I mean, humored a little bit. Maybe a little bit humored. But humored in a way because that's probably what happened to me too. So I'm just sitting there going, well, yeah, I feel this one. Oh, so they had to poke around a lot until they figure it out. That's fair. I mean, not cool, but I get it. So I was totally going to take this to Kinko's or something and print it out. And then I realized I actually brought my laser printer back online. So I actually do not need to take it to Kinko's or something. All I need to do is just make this work. That's a combination. Yeah, although, that relegates you to pudding. And there's nothing wrong with pudding. I'm just saying. Enjoy the pudding time. You're in pudding time now. There is nothing wrong with pudding time. Pudding rocks. Jello's fine. It can be Jello time. You don't got to be pudding person. It can still be pudding time, but we do it with Jello. How about that? Because pudding time just sounds funny, and so I think I'm more amused by just the way it sounds. So it's Jello versions of pudding time. All right, we built this kid, so she's ready to go. Jelly time, like peanut butter and jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. That's definitely a Family Guy reference. Could be jelly time. I mean, we have enough international people on this thread that I could see jelly, as just your generic term about Jello or pudding or any of that stuff. Because I think pudding means something different in UK English. I feel like it means something completely different in UK English. So, like figgy pudding and stuff. There you go. It's funny. Last night on my other stream, where I'm with my buddies, we were all talking about what is a measure of success. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I think my measure of success is how many people from all over the world do I have that I can chat with on this stream? That not too many, because you don't want too many, because if you have too many people, then it becomes noisy and cacophonous, and you can't follow the thread. But I mean, you're from out there in the other state that has super strict emissions control rules. But I mean, like, and then we get right, like that's the way it should be. Like, this is a successful thread. This is a successful channel, and I'm totally happy. And everybody's always like, "Do you want more followers and stuff?" I'm like, no, I don't really care. I want exactly the number of followers I've got, which is like 12, and I'm good. But they're all over the world. When Red shows up, he's in Mongolia, like Mongolia, right? And like, maybe 12, maybe 13. I don't know. I Are you sure you're on the right channel though? because you're not on, you may be on Kayan's channel. If you're on Kayan's channel, he'd been cultivating a group for a while. Mine isn't so dramatic. GS Davis Art isn't, there's not that many people, which is all right. It's totally fine. Yeah, see, Kayan is my buddy who is on here from time to time. He's on here from time to time. It's all right. This is his channel too. It's just that right now he has to get up at 4 a.m. to go to work. So he can't be on this channel because right now he's asleep because it's 10 p.m. And so, yeah, the other channel is at GS Davis Art up there on the upper right. It's on Twitch and out on Facebook and YouTube and everything. And like I said, that one's got like 12 people. It's all good. And most of the people that come in here on Kayan's channel because whatever he's done, he's actually kind of cultivated it so his channel shows up. But I'm fine. Like Red shows up here every so often, and you show up here, and Brent is in Kansas. A long time ago, we used to have a guy on here. His name was Ghost Hand, and he was in Brazil, and he was a dentist. He is. I assume he still is a dentist. And it was just like he was looking for work at the time, so he was between jobs, and so he hung out on the channel. I had 58 on that side. Woot! And you'll probably note that a good portion of them are my buddies, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I got a bunch of 59. I got 59. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. But it's all good. And we were talking about this and I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to be super popular with 1,000 zillion people on here. I'd never talk to anybody. I'd never get to have a discussion. I'd never, you know what I mean? It would never be, it'd just be a cacophony. And we'd have all these people who are in here who, we're trying to do weird stuff. And the stuff that I'm really interested in is what's going on in the world. I don't want to know, Biden, Trump, whatever. That's not the stuff I want to hear about. What I want to know is like, what did you eat for breakfast this morning? And, did you go to the market? And, did you get apples? Yeah. Which is fine. Some nights it's kind of a riot here. And those nights are good too, because they're kind of like a party. We got a party kind of going, which is cool. Right? Like your surgery, which is important. It's a moment. It's a piece of humanity. It's a second in someone else's life. That's important. It's an important thing. And so I think that's more where I'm kind of happy. That's my happy place, so to speak. Yeah. And maybe it's the little milestones. Hey, today I went and got bananas, and normally I get apples, and it's a little milestone. It doesn't mean anything. It's not huge. My child went to martial arts and apparently didn't do so well in one of the exercise or one of the exercise things. And so when they came home, they're like, hey, Dad, you want to exercise together? And I'm like, yeah, it'd be good for both of us. Can't hurt. Be good for both of us. So the kiddo and I, after we get off the stream tonight, we're going to go exercise together in the living room. Then we'll both go to bed. You know what I mean? Because I kind of like that. That works well for me. Kind of exhaust the body a little bit. And then I do good in going to bed at that point in time. But it's a little milestone. Ain't nothing big. I just have a teenager, and anything when my teenager connects with me is a brilliant, positive thing. Because teenagers are teenagers. They are who they are. I'm particularly fond of my teenager. However, that's the way it goes, you know? So, I don't know. And of course, here I am just kind of tootling along, doing the thing. Let's see what we can do about save as. So what I'm going to do is, in Momentary Ghosts, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new folder here, and we will call this new folder Momentary Ghosts 2 and 3 mock-up, maybe? Oh, I appreciate that. Back in the day, when the world was young, let's do mock-up PP1. PP01, because there'd be more than those. So there used to be a character on Sesame Street called Guy Smiley. And I actually, at some point, got so aggravated because that was what everybody always called me, was Guy Smiley. And it was annoying, and I didn't want to be Guy Smiley. And so it was aggravating. But now I kind of like that. And the real reason I want to be Guy Smiley was because he had this really long, thin face. And I'm like, my face isn't long and thin because I was a kid, right? Important things, apparently, in my world. The important thing was that my face was long and thin like his. And that was such an affront. And then, of course, as you get older and people you say, oh, my name's Guy. And they're like, you mean like Guy Smiley? And you're just like, really? Really? That's where you went? You know? So after a while, I just kind of got tired of it. But now it's been years and years and years. And now I'm like, you know what? It's not a bad thing to be associated with him. Grumpy all the time. So green eggs and ham, huh? That's intriguing. Did I already mess it up? We're only like 3 pages in. Did I mess it up already? I think I messed it up. Watch, I already messed it up. Trying to save it, it took me like no time whatsoever to mess up this thing. Go into Blatrix Rising. Completes. Act 1. Momentary Ghosts. View extra large. Okay, we didn't mess it up. We're good. Here we go. All right. It's been a long day. I had my class today that I was teaching, and we are preparing for the test. And so it's a relatively large class, but they're not bad. They're good kids. So these kids are doing good. They were just a little down today. You know what I mean? Like the entire class, the energy of the class was low. And it's hard because what I do is, we're teaching something the classes are boring and it's a bunch of slides, so it's really, really tough. That's fine. But I feel for the kids sometimes. You're like, oh man, I'm sorry, guys. Nothing I can do, but I just hope that I can do better. But usually I can make it entertaining. We talk about um, where was I? Okay, we have not saved this page. We talk about energy and motion today, and so we had um, a whole bunch of things we were talking about Newton and gravity and stuff like that. So I went and bought like this ridiculous white wig. It's cheap, which is part of the humor of it. And so I was wearing this ridiculous white wig and saying, "Don't let Isaac Newton take control of your car." Would have thought that I would have gotten a lot more traction out of that particular joke, but I didn't. That's all right. It's all good. So we'll see what happens. They should be fine. They're all pretty sharp. I get a lot of really good questions out of them, so these kids should be fine on the test. I'm not as worried. I think the only time they're going to fail is because they overthink it. So we can retake the test and it'll be fine. All right. I love this scene so much. But it's the one prior to it that I get such a kick out of this scene here, which, I can see the wheels turning. Oh no, no wheels. This is simple. 2 Cyclone class destroyers, us. Squish. And then she's like sipping her coffee, and the captain's like, "So I guess we'll have to handle this diplomatically." She just goes, "Sip." And like, then she's like, "I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, Angie." And then Angie says, "I'd rather give them the benefit of my maser arrays." She has kind of a warmongering first officer. It's all right. Hey there, Sarge. How you doing, bro? Have you moved yet? Are you still up here in Denver, or are you down in the Springs? You're busy, huh? No, I guess if you want to exercise right there, you can. I will. Give me a minute. I haven't forgotten. Moving at the beginning of July. Fair. I was just saying, when we talked to Royal Joshi here, I was just saying that that's one of the things I love about this stream is it's all of us, and we all have things, events, parts of our lives. And I'm just interested in all of that. Like, I want to know what people are doing out there. I am so inundated every day with politics and fear and scared and all of this stuff. And it's just nice to be here where, like, people are trying to decide whether they should buy bananas or apples. It's like the biggest problem they got. And I love that. Oh, then you have to put in new floors. You're going to put in wood, or you're going to put in carpets? Like I said, this is important. Like a big deal. I think this is all confused. Her familiar is showing up as a cat. Oh, laminate. Okay. Familiar shows up as a cat at this time, but it has not been a cat the entire time. It's been something else before. And so she's like, so why a cat? I don't know. It seemed like a thing to do. Okay. It's kind of funny. She's like, you make me feel like Sailor Moon. It's my Sailor Moon joke. I get one Sailor Moon joke per comic. Just saying. Okay. See you later. Keep in touch. I'll be here. It's a community. Like all of us here on this stream, we're all a little community. We're a community from all over the world, from different political areas. We've had people here. When Jan is here, she's in, I'm assuming she's a she. She might be a he. I've got a buddy named Jan who's a female, so I make the assumption that Jan is female, but that's, of course, has a male name too. But when Jan's here, we've got representation from Thailand. And then we've had, when Alfie shows up for the 30 seconds that Alfie shows up and then disappears, they're in Australia. And like I said, we had Ghost Hand here for a while, who is in Brazil. And we've got all of these people, and it's a little community, even though it's all over the world, which that to me makes sense. Like, because in the end, our politics are going to be whatever they're going to be. But I think the best part about this whole thing is that in real life, the politics is only at the government level. It's not at our level. We're just people. It's people doing our things, going through the day, deciding whether we should buy bananas or apples, And that's the thing. And I love that. I love that about the internet, and I've always loved that about the internet. It's what attracted me to the internet back in 1991, when it was still text driven and difficult to get to. And as somebody on Reddit had said back in the boop screech era, when you had to like use a modem to connect to the internet, the biggest thing was I made a buddy who lived in Canada, and she was in Ottawa, and I'd never even seen Ottawa. I've never been to Ottawa, and I was like, I don't know, whatever, 19 and 20 years old, something like that. And I was like, I'm talking to someone live in Ottawa, you know. And we had people connecting in on the same free nets back in the day, and it was just so amazing. And it's the same thing now. All of these people kind of come into this thread, and here they are, and here we all are, hanging out at Applewood Station, which I make that joke because I love space, and this is like a space station, but it's kind of like Babylon 5 in its own way. Everybody's here, you know. And we all just hang out. The last of the Babylon stations, Babylon 5. 455,000 tons of spinning metal, all alone in the night. All right. I think I have finished this section here. I'm going to make a quick. I'm going to make this all into a PDF. So I'm spinning up the Adobe PDF here. We're going to go over here, add the pages, and then this is going to be what we're doing tonight. This is our job. There. Once I figure out what buttons I need to push, this is our job. Right? All right. Here we go. All right. That's it, folks. We have made our PDF. No. I don't need it to be okay. You do you. Whatever you're going to, just do it. Whatever you're going to do, that's fine. All right. All right. Okay, guys, I'm done for the night. I think I've done my bit. We've done a good thing. We had some fun. We shared. We talked. We were part of our little community of an Applewood Station here on the internet. But it's time for us to shut the station down for the night. And I will see you again tomorrow night. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I hope you a speedy recovery out there, Joshi. I'm hoping that Sarge gets his work done too and all is good. And for everyone else, remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.